this problem asks us to find all the zeros. Okay, it gives us a small picture of what the graph would look like. And the picture, well, I don't know what you're doing, don't do it. The picture is supposed to give you guys like a hint, a clue. Okay, we cannot factor this function right here. He is really gnarly. There's no grouping going on here. And in fact, like the only way you can start doing this is by listing possible rational zeros and see if you get anywhere with that. However, since we have a graph right here, let's use that to our advantage. We see an x-intercept right here. We just need to know what that number is, and then we can have a zero, okay? And we'll make sure it's a zero too. The question is, what is that? What's our scale for our x-axis right here? Well, this number right here is a 0. That's what this is for right here. This number right here at the end is a 1. That's what that is for. So we got our minimum and our maximum x value. This part right here, the 1/4, that tells you what it's counting by. So this is going 0, 1/4, 2/4, which simplifies to 1/2, and then that's 3 or 4. But we don't care about the other ones. We care about that. That's a 1/2 right there. So I'm going to write 1/2 right there because we know it's 1/2. That is one of the zeros. And so I'm going to take that number right there and do our synthetic division to take this factor out of the polynomial. So we have a 2, a -3, a -7, a -8, and a 6. All right, hopefully this works. We bring down a 2. We multiply 2 times the 1/2, and so we get 1. And we put it underneath the -3 and add those guys together. We get -2, and then we multiply that times 1/2, and we put the answer right here, so we get -1. -1 and -7, we add those together, we get -8. -8 times 1/2 is -4. Okay, what is -8 and -4? -12. -12, half of that is -6. When I add those, I get 0. Yay. You should be happy right here. It works. The graph did not lie to us. So now what we have is a -12 for our constant, a -8 for our x term, -2 for our x squared, and then a 2 for our x to the third. I like counting like from the constant all the way up. It's just easier to think about, I suppose. Now this is my new, well, it's not the new one. This is just the polynomial after I factor out the 1/2 one. Now I would put I would put x minus 1/2 right here to get the 1/2, or there's another factor you can put there. X minus 1/2 is cool, but you probably don't see that very often. You probably see this more often. You probably see, what the heck? You could also write 2x minus 1, because if you think about it, you set this equal to 0, you'll get positive 1/2, right? So there's two ways to write it, but that doesn't really matter. This is just for visual purposes right here. Okay, so I have x minus 1/2, and now I need to factor this so I can find my other zeros, because right now we only have one of them, and here's one of my answers right here. Okay, where's my, can I factor this using grouping? No. Oh, my life sucks. Okay, if I look at this and I take out a 2x squared, I go 2x squared, and then I get, what was that, x minus 1. And then I look at this one, there's nothing I can take out of this to get an x minus 1. Boo. So we cannot do grouping. What does that mean? What do we have to do? Only option is to use possible rational zeros, and so we do our P over Q thing where we list the possible rational zeros. On the top, we're going to have the numbers that can divide 12, and so we have plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2, plus or minus 3, plus or minus 4, plus or minus 6, and plus or minus 12, because those can all divide 12. And on the bottom, we need all the numbers that can divide 2. Now, this is a lot of numbers. It's a lot. Okay, and I'm not really excited about doing all these. I have a question. If you guys are looking at this right here, because we know the Descartes' rule of signs, right? Okay, did I make a mistake? Yeah, you could factor out a 2, but still you wouldn't be able to use grouping. Yeah, so when I do the, oh, I see what you're saying. If we factor out a 2, we can eliminate some of these factors. You're so smart, you little smarty pants. Okay, yeah, let's do that. Let's factor out a 2. I like what you said. So you took out the 2 at the beginning?
Yeah, like I did it by 2. Like I took it from 6, and
yeah,
divisible by 6.
That's awesome. Really good thinking, guys. So yeah, we can do that. Let's take the 2 out of this. So now we have 2 x minus 1/2, and then we have x to the third minus x squared. Ooh, this is way nicer. Minus 4x I don't know why I didn't see that right away. Okay, but this will definitely give us less possible rational zeros, right? Yeah, so let's look at our possible rational zeros now. We have P over Q. The factors of 6, plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2, plus or minus 3, and plus or minus 6. And on the bottom we have plus or minus 1. Oh, I love it when there's a 1 on the bottom. Okay, that means that all my possible rational zeros are right up here. Now, check this out. I want to talk about Descartes' rule again. Sometimes you can use it and it's really fast and easy. If you look at this, the sign changes right here, right? Okay, so that's a yes right there. But then we get a no right there, a no right there, and that's it. So if I have one yes, that's one possible rational zero that has to be positive, right? And if I decrease that by 2, I would get a negative 1, which doesn't make sense. So there has to be a positive. We have to have a positive 0 for this polynomial right here. So that means I'm just going to check positives. I'm not going to check negatives because I know it has to be positive. Now, just for the sake of time, I'm going to try one wrong one and then I'm going to do the correct one. So you would probably do 1 first, and you try 1 for the possible rational zeros, and you go 1, negative 1, negative 4, and then negative 6. And then you bring down the 1. That's the first one. You bring that down. Then you go 1 times 1, 1 times 1, which is 1. We put it right there and we get a 0. 0 times 1 is 0. And then I add those together, I get negative 4. Negative 4 times 1 is negative 4. Okay, this is not going to be a 0. So that means I know that 1 is not a 0. So let's cancel out the 1. Let's not do 1. Let's say that we're just feeling frisky, I guess. And instead of trying 2 next, we're like, okay, I'm going to try my odds here. I'm going to see if there's a 3. Let's see if a 3 works. And now, if I try a 3, let's see what happens. If I bring down the 1, that's going to be 1, and then I would get a 3 right here. And what do I get when I add those together? A dose, and I get 2 times 3, which is 6. And what's 6 plus that's 2? 2 times 3 is 6. I got a 0. Yay, let's celebrate. So we have another 0. Here is another 0 right here. We win. We're winning. There's another 0. Yeah, we are winning. Okay, so now my polynomial is 2 plus 2x plus x squared. Can I factor that? So what I just did, let me kind of recap here. We have the 2 out right here, we have this, and now we don't have this anymore because we just factored out a 3. And so we have, now we have a 2 out in front, x minus 1/2. My new factor is x minus 3. That's because we have a 0, that's a 3. And now we have a x squared plus 2x plus 2. And unfortunately, we can't factor this. If you can't factor this and it's a trinomial, what are your options to find the 0? Quadratic formula. Wow. We've used synthetic division, possible rational zeros, a graph. Now we're doing quadratic formula. No factoring at all. Boo. Don't you just love factoring now? It's like, man, I wish it was just factor.
Yes.
And back in the day when you first learned it, it's like, oh, I hate factoring. It's like the bane of my existence. Okay. Quadratic formula, negative b, which is 2, plus or minus the square root, and I got 2 squared, minus 4ac. Hang with me, guys. I know, it's a lot. I know. Okay, longer 4 minutes. I'm sorry. 8. This equals negative 4. I'm explaining it. Okay, it takes longer when you explain it. Now, on the bottom, I have 2 times 1, which is just a 2. So let me clean this up. We have a negative 2 plus or minus the square root of negative 4 divided by 2. You guys know what the square root of negative 4 is? Yeah, it's 2i. So we have 2i right there because of the negative inside. We have a 2 right there. When I divide that, I get negative 1 plus or minus I. We found our other 2 zeros. They're right here. Hold on, let me get my purple and do my craziness right here. So we found 4 zeros. Now, the last 2 zeros that I found, would you see that on the graph? No, you would not see that on the graph. Why? It's imaginary. Yeah, we're on a real graph right now. That's an imaginary number. You are not going to be on my graph, so poop on you. So there's your zeros. That was the biggest task that you had to do. The other task was to sketch a graph of it, but I don't know. I think you're good on that because we worked on that a lot. You guys are good, or you want me to do it? Yeah, I'm done too.